Ronnie Chen. I will give every member 5 minutes because we have sufficient time. Thank you, Chair. I agree with the Secretary that the success of INT development lies in talent, so I will support the scheme. I would like to know more about the ideas behind the scheme. The government will pay half of the remuneration for the scholars at a cap of $1 million per year, plus the remuneration paid by the university. The salary of the scholars will be $2 million a year, equivalent to a D1 grade salary. So is that a competitive package compared with the remuneration packages offered by other universities? And also the professors hired by universities are on a lifetime tenure. This subsidy will only last 5 years at most, so the university will have to enter into 5 years contract with the professor rather than a lifetime tenure. And also the research team brought along by the professor will receive subsidy up to 3 years, $32,000 for each researcher. So altogether, a team of 4 will receive a $4.6 million subsidy. However, $5 million will be given to the scholar. So why is there a difference in terms of the term, 3 years and 5 years? The Hong Kong administration needs to look after the public coffer wisely, and this scheme is costing a lot of money. So how will the government gauge the success of this scheme? Will it be in terms of the number of professors coming to Hong Kong, or the size of the research teams, or the ratio of transferring their knowledge into applications? Thank you for your question, Mr. Chen. The scheme is targeted at attracting overseas scholars to Hong Kong. So besides the remuneration subsidies and also the subsidy for the research team, so that the professors can bring along their teams, they will need a laboratory for carrying out INT R&D. That's why there will be remuneration package for the professors and then the teams, and then also subsidy for setting up the laboratories. The subsidy amount is $1 million for professors. The remuneration packages are decided by the universities themselves. According to our statistics, the salary for professors can be as high as some $200,000 per month. Our $1 million subsidy is just a top-up, so that the original packages offered by universities can be more competitive. It is not a 50-50%. It is not a 50-50 matching remuneration packages. The university can pay $200,000 a month for guest speakers or guest professors or chair professors. Some universities may still hire the professors on a lifetime tenure basis. However, there are also contract based and remuneration package. The subsidy will last 3 years for the research team. For professors, we want to offer a longer period of time, 5 years. For the research team, these researchers are taking a supporting role to support the professors' R&D efforts. According to our experience, usually a project will finish within 3 years. When the research is completed, the professor may choose to start another project, then for the fourth year, the professor can apply for other subsidies to support his development. Alternatively, after 3 years, these researchers can take other positions in Hong Kong or the GBA or even overseas countries to pursue a career. Currently, the subsidy term is 3 years. The researchers can pursue the career further after that. The cost will be $200, or rather $2 billion. Depending on the situation, we will assess whether we should extend or expand the size of the funding. After hiring the professors at Hong Kong, we will look at the success of the professors in terms of the patents granted to his research and also the rates of transfer of the knowledge. Our assessment panel comprises experts of different fields, scholars, and also professional bodies in deciding in vetting the nominations. We would require the candidates to give us a report every 5 years, so that we will know how successful the professors have been during the 5 years and whether they could meet our expectations. Thank you. Next.
Can you hear me? Yes, I can. Thank you, Chair. Chair, I've noticed from the Invest Hong Kong that there have been changes in relation to the sectors involved. We have got 1,735 instead of 1,787 in relation to the financial sector. You talk about the favorable factors for those coming to Hong Kong. What about those that exit from Hong Kong? Have you asked them for the reasons for leaving Hong Kong so that you can compare those factors with the unfavorable factors for investors? Will they overlap? In that way, maybe we can be more focused in seeking solutions for them.
Second question. Last year, there was a survey about the consideration of companies choosing Hong Kong as a place of investment because of the mainland markets and the GBA area. 47% were because of the mainland factors, and some 30% were about the GBA opportunities. So why don't we have the statistics already? And is there a trend? Is there a change in the trend? And also in promoting Hong Kong by the Invest HK, besides the traditional favorable factors, you should also focus on our stability, including the exchange rate system, the link exchange rate system, and the robustness of our financial market. And also the Invest HK promotes Hong Kong as a team. So I would like to ask Stephen, in terms of carrying out the collaborated promotion efforts, what's your plan? Stephen, please.
Okay, Mr. Chan, thank you. In terms of companies that are leaving, those that are picked up in the survey, we know that they left because they don't exist when we actually approach them for survey. So consequently, we can't actually establish what the reasons are for them leaving because there's no contact person to ask that question. So we can only make educated assessments of why they're leaving. And there's a whole range of issues. Some might be that a company has been acquired. Some might be that a company is merged into another entity, so you have a combined entity. Others might just have decided to shift their focus to another part of the world. Those companies, however, that we do talk to, who we know are considering a move or a bit of a downsizing in Hong Kong. Typically, the factors are very, very commercial reasons why they're looking at adjusting their portfolio in Hong Kong. It might be that they haven't found the right client segment in the city, or they can't service their growing client segment as well as they would like to from Hong Kong, so they decide to move elsewhere. It might be because their supply chains have moved. So it tends to be real commercial factors that lead to a company either relocating or downsizing or downgrading the operation in Hong Kong. So it's a very complex situation, as I'm sure you can appreciate. In terms of when we're promoting Hong Kong around the world, we cover off all of the fundamental attributes that Mr. Chan alluded to. We talk about the depth of the financial markets here, whether it's the debt or equity capital markets, hedging facilities. We talk about corporate treasury centres in Hong Kong. We'll go into more depth on different tax efficient structures that exist. We talk about the exchange rate and obviously the certainty that that brings to businesses. So all of these issues we cover off as a matter of course. On the question in terms of collaboration, it is a very collaborative effort in terms of all of the work that we do. And depending upon the sector that we're talking about, there's a different group of stakeholders. So Invest Hong Kong, in terms of who we collaborate with outside Hong Kong, our team sits in the economic and trade offices, so that's just a natural partnership. And we obviously collaborate with Hong Kong Trade Development Council outside Hong Kong. In terms of stakeholders in Hong Kong, the stakeholders vary sector by sector. So if we look at the financial services sector, which I guess would be of particular interest to Mr. Chan, we work with FSTB very closely. And indeed, we have particular teams funded by FSTB on fintech and family offices. We work with the 3 regulators. We work with the Financial Services Development Council. We work with the different associations of banks, replicated in all different parts of the financial services industry, asset management, insurance, and so forth. And when we're doing our work around the world, we engage with all of those stakeholders. That's replicated in everything that we do. So just very quickly on innovation, we work with ITB, we work with Science Park, with Cyberport, with the universities, with key companies that are leading lights within innovation. And it is that collective effort that is so powerful. And what we are working hard with the rest of colleagues in government is to ensure that we keep giving consistent messages around the world about the developments taking place.